New real estate investors, you've heard this rumor that you can buy real estate without needing any cash, credit, or credentials. You might be thinking, how the heck am I going to buy something if I have no money? Maybe you can wholesale it, but that's not buying something. So how would you buy and own something without any of your money? And the way that you would do that is this incredible way to do business, which is called raising private capital. And I have with me my wonderful friend, Amy Majuri, who is the best capital raiser, in my opinion, that exists. The reason why I think she's the best is that she, A, teaches people how to do it ethically, B, she has 13 words that once spoken will hypnotize somebody into giving you their money, and 3, she focuses on the fundamentals of understanding that you can't have anybody give you money if you don't have a good deal. So Amy today is going to break down these 3 incredible ways that she's been able to build a massive community all around raising private capital. Amy, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
A huge fan of you. You and I have known each other for a few years now, and I've watched you build this beautiful company around raising private money. But again, you know, one of the things that I've always been fearful about is raising private money. Mm-hmm. And I guess the reason for it is I'm so fearful of losing someone's money. Or doing it incorrectly. Like taking money without having checked for accreditation, or how do I advertise or talk about it that's legal. And the last thing I ever want to do is put myself or my family in a situation where we're compromised because we've taken investments. And so that's why I think working with somebody like you is so important, because you don't get to a scaled business. You can't buy billions or hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate without taking private capital. But you show people how to do it correctly. So let's talk to that first,
Sure.
right? How important is ethics and structure in raising private money?
I mean, it's huge. It's number one, from the good, the bad, and the in-between. Before anyone ever gets out there and even thinks about raising private money, you have to understand what all the controls are that you have in place, right? Because as we increase control in our business, we don't guarantee, we reduce risks. So things like, don't even think about raising money if you don't know how to analyze a deal. If you haven't built your power team, you don't know what your target market looks like, you can't answer the hard questions. You gotta be able to answer the hard questions. What if a deal goes south? Are you gonna personally guarantee a loan? What if, God forbid, you pass away? Who's gonna take over? Why don't you work with banks? You gotta have skin in the game. Why don't you put your own money in the deals, right? So they're gonna get asked so many questions, so you gotta be able to answer those. And it's like the list goes on and on. What contracts do you use? There are 1,000 ways that you can structure deals with your private money lenders, and there is a right and a wrong way to contractually structure those deals. So you have to have like a great legal team behind you who understands the business. So there's so much that goes into it.
Knowing how to do it correctly, of course, is super important. And I love that you emphasize that and you make it the foundation of what you do. There are 13 words that I've heard you say that are mind-blowing to me, because it's such a common question that people get asked. When you meet somebody, it's like, hi, I'm Jamil.
Right.
Let's pretend, hi, hey, what do you do, Amy? And I don't know what it is about US culture or like American culture, Western culture, is we're so interested in how people earn.
Sure.
We're so interested in what people do for a living. In fact, it's like we decide, are you worth my time to talk to or not worth my time to talk to, based off of the answer to that question. And I know that sounds silly, but it's true. People do judge you and they make an impression of who you are and your value to them, maybe how you can benefit them in very short amounts of time. And I think you've hacked the TikTok mindset of that entire thing, because when you say the 13 words, which I feel are a spell, when you say the 13 words and you put somebody under a spell, the natural next question is, how?
Right, tell me more.
Tell me more, right? And so then, you know, you've now opened the door and created the question. So we're not gonna get to the 13 words until you get to the end of this video, so don't think that it's gonna happen, and please don't fast forward, because I don't know where at the end of the video it's gonna be. So we're gonna get to the last question, which is the second question now, because I'm moving things around, keeping you guys on your toes. But when we're talking about deal structure and analyzing a deal flow, right? Because I know that you think that's so important. I personally think it's the most important thing ever, right? Is understanding what's a deal versus what's not a deal. How do you bridge that? Because I'm sure that the people in your world are raising money for maybe multifamilies, some might be raising money for commercial, some might be raising money for new construction, some might be raising money for luxury flips, some might be raising money for single family low entry flips. And so you've got all these different worlds or verticals that people can do, and a deal in one might not look the same as a deal in another, might not look the same as a deal in another. So how do you bridge the underwriting aspect of it? Because I can't imagine that you're an expert in any of or all of these things. You're an expert at raising private money.
Right.
So how do you show people, what do you tell people to do to become an expert in their field of understanding value?
They want to have a different detailed deal analyzer in place for every investment strategy that takes into account every single cost variable plus a buffer before they even start to think about getting out there to raise private money. Now, for me, for example, I focus on new builds, renovations, and multifamily syndications. So I'm comfortable educating people on how to analyze those types of deals. Anything outside of that, I'm not. So you want to make sure you've got someone in your community who can help you understand how to analyze those deals. And you have to know that deal analyzer like the back of your hand. If you don't, you will not have success raising money, because very investor savvy private money lenders will approach you, and they've done this before, and they will purposely ask you the same question about your deal 5 different ways to test your knowledge. So you don't want to just memorize your deal analyzer, you really have to understand it, and your net ROI will look different depending on the exit strategy, right? The investment strategy. So never ever, this was a huge lesson learned that a lot of investors have come to me with. They'll move forward on a flip, for example, if it's a $50,000 profit. Never look at the dollar amount. Always look at the net ROI as a percentage. And you want it to be, if you're a newer investor, 15% or more, an experienced one, 10% or more. That's just what I do.
That's great advice, because again, if I'm putting out $1 million, does a $50,000 profit in a year excite me? Maybe not. But if I'm only putting in $200,000, I get a $50,000 return at the end of 6 months or a year. That's way more exciting than having to put in $1 million and get the same amount of money. So you're absolutely right. The percentage based off of an annualized return is extremely important to understand, and also understanding the thresholds, right? Like you just said, a newer investor at 15%, and then maybe somebody who's more experienced at about 10%. From your knowledge, because you've seen so many different types of deals, and I very rarely get to ask somebody this question, because it's rare that somebody would have access to know about the different deal types. What's your favorite kind of investment? Because you've seen returns from multifamily, you've seen returns from new construction, you've seen returns from flips. Where does Amy like to put her money?
So for me, in two different areas. As an active real estate investor who's still doing deals, my passion, my heart from day one over the last 10 years has always been fix and flips. I love that. It still excites me. I love the transformation process. I really know my numbers. Like, I am within $500, no more than $1,000 of accuracy every time I analyze a deal on a fix and flip. It's pretty amazing.
Yep.
But then also as a passive investor, because I lend on deals, we park money into syndications, I like the multifamily syndication route for our passive returns.
And it's a great way to get depreciation.
Yes.
So I the one advantage of the multifamily syndication that I did invest in that hasn't really panned out well was I got an incredible loss from on a K1 from that investment, which offset incredible tax savings to me as well, that I'll even carry forward into this next year. So I love multifamily syndications for specifically the purpose of capital preservation. And after about 4 or 5 years, if you have a really good operator, you can make a great return, right? People like Vina Jetty and these really powerhouse multifamily investors, I love that they're in our space and they're in our orbits, because we can really tap into their expertise and then kind of follow the leader when it comes to how you want to do passive investments. But I want to get to why everybody's still watching right now, because they want to know what's the spell, right? Like, how does Amy basically hypnotize her Uber driver, her salon, her hair person, her the person that maybe butchers her meat? I don't know if you are a vegetarian or not, but you have got 13 words that when said in this order will almost every single time elicit a specific response, which, if you think about it, is pretty difficult to do, because even in the world of magic, they still have moments where they're like, the guy's like, I'm pretty sure he's gonna say this, but there's a good chance that there's also a slim chance that he won't. I've never heard anybody have a different response to the 13 words that you say than what your intention is for the next thing. So, without further ado, drum roll. You guys ready? Lights, camera, action.
My 4-second power pitch, which is 13 words, is I show people how to earn double-digit returns backed by real estate.
Are you hypnotized? If you are, then you want to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because you are hypnotized, and we just gave you 13 words that show you exactly how you can raise. And I want to know, how much money have you raised? Because those 13 words have put how much in your banks?
Over $40 million in real private money over the last 10 years.
Have you raised $40 million? No, because you don't know the spell. But today you learned it on Jamil Damji's YouTube. We'll see you guys in the next one. Before we go, if you guys got a lot of value from Amy, how can people reach out to you?
The best way to connect with me will be through Instagram or LinkedIn at Amy Majuri.
LinkedIn, guys, that's what real professionals use. If you guys like this video, do me a favor and like and subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when we do some fun things, and happy spelling.